Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of my book talk. My name is Femi Martin, and I'm the author of Jesus the Egyptian. This is the book we are reading and discussing. If you haven't got a copy, please go get a copy today so you can read along with us. You can join us on this book talk and read along with us because we are reading it and discussing it at the same time. And why is this? Because I want people to understand the relevancy of the book, what the book is actually talking about. The storyline. We've been following the storyline from the first chapter. As we see, the Holy Family entered Egypt without any substance on them, without any livelihood to live on, anything to live on them. They enter Egypt, and the only thing they have is the present given to the baby, to the only child. So we've been looking at how they've been managing to survive and going through, and we've had account of what Herod is up to at that time. During those times, how he was chasing them around in Egypt, because there is part of history. If you want to find out more, you can check the Egyptian Coptic Church online, and you can see there how the map of their work, of their movement in Egypt during those times. If you study it, you will see that they did not spend more than necessary at one spot. Otherwise, and why is this? Why didn't they stay too long in the city of Egypt? Why are they moving up and down, traveling all around till they reach the bottom, the end? It's not just a mystery. Something is chasing them all around Egypt. So this is what the book is telling us. And although it's from pure imagination, but from the clues we have in history, we can piece some things together with a clear imagination. We are now in chapter 13. We've been reading the book. If you want to catch up on the past chapters, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you will catch up on the previous episodes where the other chapters are. For now, we are in chapter 13, as I said, and the chapter title for today is Out of Arm's Reach. Out of arm's reach. But are they really out of arm's reach? Herod is still alive. He's still on the throne. While Herod is still on the throne, the only child is not safe. The only baby is not safe while Herod is still on the throne. Because Herod is a disaster. He's a man. He's a terror, afraid, terrorized by his own throne, by the throne he sits on, thinking that it's his own possession, that like he is not going to die and leave it to his children, because he even had his own children killed for the throne. So the only child was not the first person Herod is going to kill for the throne. He has already killed his own children, 2 of his own sons, and a wife for it. So he is a disaster. And we see what he was up to during those times. For a man like that, we know definitely he will want to make sure that the only child is dead. So the only child is not safe while Herod is still on the throne, is still alive. So we'll be following from where we stop from chapter 13. We'll be reading on Out of Arm's Reach. Old Cairo wasn't a pleasant place for the Holy Family. Joseph and Mary agreed that they should run as far as they can. They want to get far away from the rowdy crowd. But the Jews that Godwin sent after them worries them because they don't know how far they will go to find them. Joseph stops and thinks, haven't they been the same Herod's men chasing us since they reached Egypt? Godwin is in on it as well. Josh is so sure of it that it frightens him. With the sort of influence Godfrey has among the Egyptians, it could only mean trouble for them. He explained this to Mary as they walk on. Whatever you decide, Joseph, Mary says, I know God is with you. They walk into Madi in the middle of the night. Madi is only about 10 kilometers away from Babylon, Old Cairo, down the southern end. In the previous episode, we read how the Holy Family entered Babylon and what happened in Babylon and how they were managed to escape Babylon. Now, reflecting on that is what they are doing here, reflecting on what happened in Babylon, where the Holy Child decided to fall all their idols and images. They walk into Madi in the middle of the night. Madi is about 10 kilometers away from Babylon, Old Cairo, down the southern end. They couldn't find a place in Madi in the night, so they walked through town until they reached the southern end. A mountain looms in the distance away from the road. Joseph goes straight for it and on reaching the mountain finds a small cave under it. He goes in and investigates first before he takes his family in. They stay in the cave for 2 more days. They they left Babylon without any provision for themselves. All their bags and provision had been left behind. However, they have themselves, and that's enough sometimes. So they've lost all their luggage and bags in Babylon now. The only thing they have on them, the only thing they have with them is just themselves only, nothing more, because they ran in haste out of Babylon. But God doesn't leave them without, because early the next morning, when they wake up, the mountain is covered with a fog. When the fog clears at midday, they find bells and loaves spread out on the mountain. This continues until the third day. Meanwhile, baby Jesus makes a spring of water gush out from the mountain by just touching it. Water, he says, tapping the rock while Mary watches. To her amazement, a spring of water gushed out of the mountainside, and he dips his hand in it and washes his face. For a small boy of just 18 months, is pretty much a genius. Mary observes as his confidence grows and silently offers praise to God. She is sometimes lost in a wonder at what her baby can do. He's managed to surprise her on most occasions, but she knows he has a teacher beside him, teaching him what to do. On the third day of their stay in the cave, Joseph comes up to Mary and speaks. We should leave in the morning. Why again? Mary says. Can't we rest here more? You've rested here more than enough, Joseph says. Soon this mountain will be filled with people once your son's mojo gets loose. Mary opens her mouth and can't close it. What surprises her is that Joseph has been paying attention to things she hasn't considered. He's right. Baby Jesus' mojo is the crowd that he draws along with him anywhere he goes. Christ just comes from nowhere and they will be wondering what Jesus has done. She eventually agrees with Joseph. So early the next morning, they prepare to leave the cave. That's another reason for them not staying on the mountain in the caves for too long as well. They couldn't stay long because baby Jesus will draw crowd to himself. He will draw crowd to the mountainside, and they don't want that. She eventually agrees with Joseph. So early the next morning, they prepare to leave the cave. They set off on their journey when they suddenly meet a group of people heading to the mountain. Hello there, calls out somebody from the group of 5 adults and 3 children. Is God still on the mountain? Joseph stopped at these words. He and Mary look at each other before looking at baby Jesus in Mary's lap. then back at the mountain. A dense cloud rises from the mountain and into the sky. What is that cloud? Everyone in the group is asking. Even Joseph and Mary can't explain it. They just turn back and walk away from the group as quickly as they can. Let's go up the mountain and see, someone says from the group. They all run up to the mountain while Mary and Joseph walk away with baby Jesus. They reach the road and set southward when a small group, a man and a woman with two children, stop them. Please, friend, are you coming from the mountain? The man asks. Which mountain are you talking about? Joseph says. The mountain of course. That mountain of course, the man points. I can see the glory of God there. I'm afraid you'll have to go and find out yourself. Won't you come with us? Thank you so much, Jesus says, but we must go now. Joseph and his family walked away from them, with the other family looking at them as if they've gone insane by not coming to the mountain with them. They left the barefoot family alone and walked on. They are walking past the river crossing when an idea struck in Joseph's mind. Mary, should we cross the river again into the western desert? He asked. Why cross the river again? Says Mary. Herod's men. Mary, remember, they are still after us, and I think Godwin is the one seeing to their work here. So he is the one sending men after us. Yes, and he takes his order from Herod directly as the foreign affairs minister. So we can't escape him because he knows the Egyptian. Mary says, let's cross the river and I will explain to you. So here now, both Mary and Joseph are gripped with fear of what Godwin can do because they've seen his influence among the Egyptians, how he was well welcomed, how he was sitting with their high officials. And that frightens them a lot that Godwin has a lot of influence among them, the Egyptians. So it will be hot on their case. So crossing the river there for Joseph is to act as a diversion because they can't keep on going on the same road. So they cross the river. Let's cross the river and I will explain to you. They walk down the path to the river and Joseph bargains with a ferryman. With the money on him, he pays for their crossing and they board the ferry. There are lots of people standing or walking around by the ferry crossing. Joseph pays close attention to them all, making sure nobody who looks Jewish is boarding the ferry with them. He leads them to a corner on the ferry where they sit. For more protection, he makes sure to hold on to baby Jesus. They are still on the ferry when Joseph explained to Mary, you know quite all right that Herod wants to kill your son and not you. Should I give me comfort, Joseph? Mary said, the death of my son is wrong. He might as well take me because my son has done nothing wrong. What I'm thinking now is that he wants all of us dead and not just the boy anymore. Excuse me. Joseph is not thinking of what Godwin can be up to. Well, he's thinking that Herod wants all of them dead. What makes you think that? Because of what Godwin said. He said he wants to lead us to Judea himself, which means to Herod. But Herod will just kill the boy and set us free or throw us into jail to die. Mary says. Then thinking again, he says, what am I saying? None of it is good. I just hope God will do something about him in time because I'm getting weary of this moving around all the time. And that is the end of this chapter. We can see now that Mary and Joseph are in panic about what Godwin, the foreign affairs minister of Judea to Egypt, could achieve, could be up to. His influence is great among the Egyptians, and this is what frightens them. So Herod is really on their case. And that's the end of the episode for today. And if you haven't got a copy of the Jesus the Egypt share, go and get a copy today so that you can read along with us on the next episode, and you'll be able to catch up on the previous episode if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you, everybody, and have a pleasant day. Bye.